My name is Dr. Austin Tay, and you are listening to PsychChat. Welcome to PsychChat episode 45. My name is Dr. Austin Tay, and I am an organizational psychologist. In my podcast, I discuss workplace issues and hope to provide my listeners with tips on navigating the complex world of work. Welcome back if you are subscribed to the podcast. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, subscribe so as not to miss any episodes. Today, I will be discussing the topic of defensive decision making. So what exactly is defensive decision making? Defensive decision making refers to the tendency for decision makers to opt for a less effective but low-risk alternative in order to protect themselves rather than selecting the best option for the organization or the client. This behavior is pervasive across a wide range of occupations and sectors and can result in significant harm to organizations. For instance, a manager might choose to hire an internal candidate over a more qualified external candidate to avoid potential conflict within the team. While this decision may be safer for the manager personally, it may not align with the organization's best interests. The impact of defensive decision making is substantial. In the medical field, defensive medicine practices such as ordering unnecessary tests due to fear of malpractice litigation are estimated to cost the US healthcare system approximately $46 billion annually. These examples underscore the significant ramifications of defensive decision making, shedding light on the broader implications of prioritizing self-preservation over organizational effectiveness. So what should we do? Tip number 1. Recognize the signs of defensive decision-making in your organization. Look for patterns where employees consistently choose safer options over potentially better alternatives, especially when personal risk is involved. Defensive decision-making encompasses two dimensions: decision-making approach and decision-making avoidance. Decision-making approach pertains to making decisions despite uncertainties, potentially leading to resource depletion due to personal risk. On the other hand, decision-making avoidance involves evading or delegating risky decisions to others, particularly when an individual's resources are limited. Understanding these dimensions highlights that defensive decision-making is not solely about inaction or silence. It can also entail active choices that prioritize self-protection over organizational benefit. So what can we do? Tip number 2. When evaluating decision-making processes in your organization, consider both avoidance and approach behaviors. This will give you a more comprehensive view of how defensive decision-making manifests in your workplace. Early on, I mentioned that resources is one of the factors that creates defensive decision-making. Now, according to the conservation of resources theory, it provides a comprehensive framework for understanding individuals' behavior in decision-making processes. According to the conservation of resources theory, individuals have limited resources. These include time, energy, and material possessions, and they are strongly motivated to protect these resources from depletion. At the same time, they strive to acquire new resources to effectively cope with future stressful situations. When individuals perceive that their resources are at an optimal level, they are more likely to take calculated risks and make decisions that align with the best interests of the organization. This is often characterized by proactive and innovative decision-making. However, when resources are scarce or there is a perceived threat of resource depletion, individuals are more likely to engage in defensive decision-making. This defensive decision-making is driven by the need to protect and conserve their remaining resources, often resulting in a risk-averse behaviors and resistance to change. So, what can we do about it? Tip number 3. Foster a work environment that helps employees maintain and replenish their resources. This could involve providing adequate support, ensuring reasonable workloads, and promoting work-life balance. Defensive decision-making can also impact the psychological safety in the workplace. Psychological safety refers to an environment in which team members feel secure and comfortable to take interpersonal risks without the fear of negative repercussions. This concept, as defined by Edmondson, plays a crucial role in shaping defensive decision-making within a team. In high psychological safety environments, employees are more likely to openly express their thoughts and opinions, take accountability for their mistakes, and make well-considered decisions while feeling supported and without the fear of negative judgment or consequences. This atmosphere fosters an important and transparent work culture where individuals feel empowered to contribute without the fear of being criticized, thus reducing resource depletion and defensive decision-making tendencies. So how can an organization create a psychological safety environment for their employees? Tip number 4. Prioritize building psychological safety in your teams. Encourage open communication. Treat mistakes as learning opportunities and demonstrate that taking calculated risks is valued in your organization. Defensive decision-making can also be related to job insecurity. Job insecurity is the state of feeling powerless and uncertain in a threatened job situation. where individuals perceive a lack of control over maintaining desired continuity in their employment. This sense of insecurity can significantly heighten the likelihood of individuals making defensive decisions. When employees feel uncertain about their job stability, they are more likely to engage in defensive decision-making as a way to protect themselves from potential negative outcomes. For example, an employee might avoid speaking up about problems in a project to protect their job, even if addressing these issues would benefit the organization in the long run. So, what can an organization do? Tip number 5. Address job insecurity in your organization. Be transparent about the company's situation and future plans. Provide clear performance expectations and offer opportunities for skill development to enhance employees' perceived employability. Defensive decision-making can also be related to individual differences. Individual differences such as regulatory focus also play a role in defensive decision-making. Regulatory focus can be either prevention-focused or promotion-focused. So what is prevention-focused? Prevention-focused individuals are primarily concerned with safety, responsibility, and security needs. They are more sensitive to the presence or absence of negative outcomes. Promotion-focused individuals are more concerned with advancement, growth, and accomplishment. They are more sensitive to the presence or absence of positive outcomes. These different focuses can influence how individuals perceive risks and make decisions. Prevention-focused individuals might be more prone to defensive decision-making as they are more attuned to potential negative outcomes. Again, what can we do then as an organization? Tip number 6. Recognize that employees may have different decision-making tendencies based on their regulatory focus. Tailor your approach to decision-making processes and risk assessment to accommodate these differences, ensuring that both prevention and promotion perspectives are considered. So in conclusion, let's recap the key points we've covered about defensive decision-making. Number 1, it is a widespread phenomenon that can significantly impact organization. It has 2 dimensions: decision-making approach and avoidance. Number 3, it's closely tied to an individual's perception of their resources. Number 4, psychological safety can help reduce defensive decision-making. Number 5, job insecurity can increase the likelihood of defensive decisions. And number 6, individual differences like regulatory focus affect decision-making tendencies. Understanding these aspects of defensive decision-making can help organizations create environments that encourage more effective and beneficial decision-making processes. Remember, while defensive decision-making may seem like a safe choice for individuals, it often leads to suboptimal outcomes for organizations in the long run. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions or suggestion, please do send an email to PsychChat@omnisci.com or tweet to psych_chat. You have been listening to PsychChat. This podcast is brought to you by Omnisci Consulting. We are a team of psychologists with a wealth of experience working with individuals, teams, and organizations in coaching, executive selection, assessment and development, career transitioning, and workplace intervention. Omnisci Consulting exists to solve the critical issues facing our clients, both large and small. Our approach is to tailor-make each service to meet the requirements of our clients. Our broad range of services and solutions helps individuals and organizations to facilitate change, achieve their vision, and optimize performance and productivity.